Good afternoon, folks. Fox It Outdoors here. It is Friday, August 18th. It is 7:23 p.m. It is 95 degrees outside. It is freaking hot. I just got done watering most of my plants that needed it, which I've been watering for like an hour and a half already. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Let me get you turned around and we'll get you underway as to what has been going on over here. So without further ado, flip. We'll start over here in the, silver race container bins and the mini, what are these things, whiskey barrels, plastic whiskey barrel planters. I have my lemon plant here. I did trim work on this a couple of weeks ago, and as you can see, there is a ton of new growth on here, just everywhere. It is all over the place. Look at that. There, up here, that's new. All of that down there is new. That is new. New down here. And I trimmed the heck out of it. I probably cut off about 2-3 pounds worth of stuff. And this plant is coming back quite nicely. My carrots down here. Got another one going to seed, which is annoying because I have enough seeds for my carrots. I have my lime, my Mexican lime. This one, I cut off probably half of this plant. Trimmed it down, and this thing is, in a matter of weeks, is almost doubled in size, which is ridiculous. I'll probably trim more off next season, but for now, I did a good trim on this, and as you can see, it is getting quite big. I have my bamboo mulch bag back there. That is all bamboo and a couple of sticks. I have my usual, what is this thing, my blackberries, my smackberries. It's getting pretty big on this side. Middle's still going a little bit, and the end over there is kind of struggling big time, which is unfortunate because that's the side that we need the most coverage on to provide indoor security from visual perspective, so we're not being spied on and whatnot. But it is growing. It is slowly doing what it's doing. It's getting thicker, but it's taking a long time. I need to add a little bit more fertilizer to it and go from there. But as you can see, all of this, when I put all of this, what is this stuff? Mulch, not mulch, hay mulch. When I layered this with hay all the way to the top of each one of these containers. And as you can see, they've dropped down roughly 4 to 6 inches on some of them. This one's like 6 inches almost. I think I got 6 to 8 on this one, and about 4 to 5 on this one. On this one over here. That stuff has dropped down big time. I'm also currently being eaten by mosquitoes. They are out in force tonight, which is really unfortunate for me. They are attacking like crazy. My lime tree, my other one, my actual lime tree, this one is doing quite well over here. Although it does look like something ate the leaves off of this side, so I'm going to have to kind of move it over. There's a mosquito over here somewhere, so if you hear a slap, that's what it was. We have onions, bunching onions, doing incredibly well. I had one of the seed pods actually dropped off into the container, so you can see the skinny grasses. That's new stuff. This is... Sorry, that was a very distracting noise. Anyways, that is my Sandia pepper down there. There's something up here eating my leaves. I can hear it munching on them. Either that or it's just because of the wind is blowing them, and I got dry. Well, anyways, I got dry edges on all of this stuff in here. It has been getting watered almost every day. There may or may not be a day or two where I miss it, but I usually don't go more than 36 hours without watering it. Ah, that's what's making a noise. I got a damn grasshopper right in here, munching on my shit. Get off, you little turd. He was munching on all the dry stuff, and I can hear him crisping in there. Ooh, check this out. Right there, you guys should be able to see it dead center screen. I got another seed pod, or another, I really don't know how to qualify them as. Blooms, I guess we'll qualify it as blooms because this is the first time I've grown this. This is my actual loofah plant. I have 3 of these in here. And definitely next year, this will be going on the fence or on one of my trellises somehow. I don't know what I'll probably do. Chances are, I'll put it in a container and grow it along the fence over here between myself and my neighbors. We'll see what happens. Although, to be dead honest, I have a lot of space everywhere else to grow. Strawberries, these are the everbearing. They are continuing. I actually have a strawberry or two on the back side of that one. These are my chives. I believe these are the garlic chives. As you can see, they've already got a couple of flower heads on them. Looks like I got one there, one here, one there. These two are already open. Actually, there's two of them right there. Those are open. Be getting some seeds off of that, hopefully. But yeah, you can see tendrils on here, tendril over there, tendril over here. I got a tendril growing this way. That sucker's going everywhere. It is getting big. Almost feel like this would be better off growing on straight up on the ground, but I mean, it literally designed as a climber. Is these little guys here will wrap around everything and everything. So they'll wrap around all sorts of stuff. They'll even wrap around themselves. I've got more carrots seeds over here, which I'm telling you folks, I have an abundance of carrot seeds as it is. So basically what I've been doing with these ones is I've been cutting them, getting whatever seeds I want, and waiting till they dry, and then I'm just sticking them in the mulcher, seed pods and all. It all goes in there, and then it'll go in the compost bin. Still got onions, lettuce. That one bolted already, but you can see I have down here little lettuces starting to grow up again. Onions. I got onions all up in here. There's another one over there. There's one back there. I do got to harvest this batch of seeds from these lettuces, and then I'll have those done. I have my pecan tree doing well. A little browning on some of the leaves, but that's just because it got a little too hot. For 3 weeks straight, I had 104-degree heat, so yeah, it sucks on a lot of plants when the temp is incredibly hot. We'll go pan back this way real quick. This is my orange tree, or my orange bush, citrus bush. I don't know. It is an orange, it is a citrus, but that sucker is actually now that tall. That's about 3 feet almost. From the planter, from the top of the planter to the top of this is about 3 feet, just about. That thing is actually doing fantastic. I don't know why it's doing so well over there, whereas my other ones have been struggling, and I lost 2 of them in 1 year. But this guy seems to be doing fantastic over here. Same with him. He's doing real well. So I'm going to leave them there. I'm probably going to keep them in the containers over winter, and I'm going to stick them in the greenhouse. And then we'll have, hopefully next season, I might get 1 or 2 off of them, but I know what I'm doing now on these. I've watched about 10 or 15 videos on pruning and growing citrus, so I'm getting a little better at growing these. Hence the reason why I pruned the other 2 that were over here. I needed those to get trimmed because this is my 2nd year with them, but probably the 3rd year they've been growing, so it's time to prune. Down here got a little tiny, very struggly sunflower. It grew in with these guys. These guys got too tall, overcrowded that one, and it just fell over and sideways, but it still hasn't died, which is funny. But I'll be harvesting these ones as well. As you can see, they are ready to harvest for seeds. Seeds are almost good to go. And then I have my tomato plant. These are my Gardener Delight tomatoes, and then I have the Marglobes in the back. As you can see, I got 3 plants in there, which is weird because I'm pretty sure I only planted 2 seeds in each one, but whatever, it is what it is. Go ahead and check this out. I'm actually happy. I have my 2nd tomato. You can see the first one back here. These are supposed to be, the Marglobes are supposed to be just slightly bigger than cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. And they grow similar, in similar fashion. Here's the current existing new pod. You can see there's about 6 heads on there. Actually, that one's got about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one's got 8. So they can grow in clusters of anywhere between, I believe, 6 to 10. Similar to like the way a grape grows on a vine. You get a good little cluster of them. These ones here are my Tabasco peppers. As you can see, they are doing quite well. I have a couple of them in here. I don't know if you can see that red right there, but That guy is just about ready to harvest. I got a couple of in here. Check this out. Check these out, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I have tons of these in here. Look at this. They are all over the place. They are getting in there profusely. These are good. They're doing good right here. I was kind of concerned with these plants in this spot. I didn't think they were going to get enough sunlight due to the fact that I do have a shade awning all the way across here for the summertime. And then the sun technically does pop up over that way and then kind of goes up and over the house. And then more or less in full summertime sets right about there throughout June and July. But as you can currently see, the sun is over here, so we are starting to transition into the winter season, or fall, I should say. Solar collection works both in summer and in the winter time. It's actually designed for the winter. It is a bit of an issue though, because we do now have this guy in the way. As you can see, there's the fence between us and the neighbor. Normally when the sun's on the low end down there, this thing would get, the solar panels would get plenty of sun all day long. But with the RV in the way, it kind of tends to hamper the solar acquisition. And then we'll go over here, and you guys will be able to see, I will do just a panoramic view, low panoramic view of everything. Zoom in on you guys, there we go. I'll do a slow panoramic just for you guys so you can see all the, I do have a ton of green back here, albeit none of it's edible or grows flowers for very long, so it's not very pretty for too long. Unfortunately, I did have to cut out all the bamboo over there. That one died because of the cats. Apparently insisted periodically to piss in there, so the cat piss just kind of killed my grass. I will try to recover it. Right now I have about I have about an 8 or 10 inch layer of hay on top of it. My second one over here, that one's kind of dwindling, but my main one right here is doing real well still. So I do have recovery potential for this one if it does come back at the end of the season, or next year I will. If it doesn't, I have a contingency plan for it. As you can see right here, we also have 2 apple trees. We'll go back to normal focus. This one here is my Ultra Dwarf Fuji apples. I don't know if that's actually gonna, there we go. I'll actually focus on there. I have, oh, I didn't even notice that, a big old massive grasshopper on here. I will have to get rid of that because I do not want it eating my leaves. But no apples on this one. This guy is about 6 foot tall. I tested it out the other day. I actually stood on the edge of this thing, and that's actually as tall as I am. I could, eye level, I wasn't even toward the top of, I was like right there, the last like 4 or 5 leaves, that's where I was eye level. So that tree is doing fantastic. This is my other apple tree. This was the, I believe this was my Montmorency's. Oh, my tag broke off. Nope. These are actually my Ultra Dwarf Ambrosias. And you can see here, I do have 3 apples there. I actually had an apple right here, but that looks like it got snagged by something because I was looking over here and I couldn't find it nowhere. And I do have these 2 here, so I'm down to 5 apples out of the 7 that I originally started with. And I'm seriously, I've looked, I figured that apple would have, where it's at, it would have fallen off, hit here, and rolled out that way, but I see nothing. So that tells me either the squirrel snagged it or something else snagged it. But most likely the squirrel, because that's the only thing I can think of that would eat the fruit, and that's the only thing I have down here that would eat fruit. The birds aren't going to just wander off back here and eat fruit. No. Still have this monstrosity back here. These absolutely fantastically humongous rose bushes. And then down here we have butterfly milkweed. Let's see if I can get one on film. Ooh, looks like they are not over here today. That is really unfortunate. I was going to try to get a picture or film for you guys of the tarantula hawks that have been frequently visiting these butterfly milkweed bushes. But surprisingly, I don't know why, they're not over here today. I've seen them out here almost every day for the last 2 months. Actually, almost 3 months. They've been out here going crazy. But this one is for, man, this particular section of the video is just going to be for Garden State Gardener. He absolutely loves my rose bushes. But look at this thing. That's not a rose bush, that's a rose tree. Huge rose bushes. These are the mini roses, or the vine, kind of almost like a trumpet vine, but not a trumpet vine. I forget the name of this particular rose bush, but these are like climbers, and these things will spread out everywhere. And then they do stuff like this. They send out huge clusters of roses. So you can see all of these rose heads right here. And that's all this bush does. Ooh, it looks like something ate all of these ones. But yeah, they'll send out these vines. They'll grow about 5-6 feet long, and then they'll start sending out roses. I got white rose in there. This is my Morning Glory. I wasn't sure what this thing was going to do, but all of a sudden, within the last week, this thing has just literally pooped out hundreds of flowers. Like, these ones will pop open tomorrow morning. These are brand new ones. And I got a couple of them right there. Got a new one there. You can tell the brand new flowers because they're nice and twisty. They got that nice curl to them. See, look, like nice spiral to them. Those are the brand new ones. These things are usually good for a few days if they've got enough water, usually about a week, and then they kind of just stop. And then they will produce seeds. As prolific as this one is, I will most likely be collecting all of the seeds from that, or at least all the ones that I can get. They enjoyed growing here, but this is not where I want them to grow. This was a stopgap measure because there were bushes, plants growing in here. I wasn't 100% sure what they were, and I didn't want to just uproot them and, you know, potentially lose either an edible or whatnot. But again, this one turned into a Columbine, or sorry, not Columbine, Morning Glory. So I kept it that way. This pot is supposed to be the replacement pot for all my mint over there. So when that's done for the season next year, I'm going to transplant the mint from there into this container. And it's pretty much just I'm going to scrape all the bark off, add a layer of manure, and then I'm going to set that right on top of it. Get it in watered. I'm going to make sure that stuff is almost at the top of this because it will settle a good probably 2-3 inches again. I have right now, I honestly have about 1.5 inches of bark right on that container. So back side of the roses, nothing spectacular here. I do have to trim a lot of this back. I got a lot of work on here. I got to trim this one basically off at the bottom, and then I got to trim that one over there out, and then I got to work on trimming some of these out here. But I have this weird bush. I still haven't figured out what it is. I've tried to figure it out, but the plant identifier doesn't want to give me what I want. So it's just a random weed, doesn't do anything, produces these white cone thingies that pop open. They're a little spiky, and then there's like 50 seeds in each one of these things. So that's why I have a massive collection of them over here. I let 1 or 2 of them drop in here, and yeah, that was a mistake. But essentially what I'm going to do is I think next year I'm going to build an actual framework in here. This plasticky thing did not do as well as I wanted it to, so I'm actually just going to make a little square bed, about maybe 1.5 feet, 2 foot, 3-4 feet long. And then I'm going to put a arch system in here, a 2x4 just single arch frame in here, so I can grow tomatoes. My tomatoes seem to do real well in here 1 year, so I'm going to grow them back in here, but I need a dedicated container. I still have to plant these guys, which is ridiculous because I have been absolutely lazy about planting these blueberries. I have 4 plants there. Supposed to go over here, but they didn't. I have my hot peppers. They still have not done anything. These ones are the habaneros. I keep getting seed pods on them, or heads, or flower starts, and then they fall off. So, I don't know. I water them every 4 or 5 days. They are not covered. As you can see, they do not have a mulch bottom. I have enough mulch to put in there, but I'm just lazy. So I'm always working. Then I've got various of flowers here. I got a variation of flowers here. Basically, all the stuff in the blue and green pots are kind of a mixture of plants that I have. Don't really have the names of these. These ones, I think, cone flowers. In the blue pot there, and the blue pot here. Blue pot over there, which is surprising, does not have cone flowers in it. I actually have, that plant is the same plant there, but different. I don't know, I forgot. To be dead honest, I have so many plants in here, I can't remember half of them. But yeah, I've got nice little row of plants there. It just kind of gives like a little perspective of walkway. And then you can see I have a little bit of a walkway there. Just kind of transitions. This one curves around that back wall there, kind of opens up. I have my absolute massive tomato plants over there. I think I got about 4 or 5 in there, and those things are absolutely going nuts. I got beans in here. These are the black turtle beans that I've been showing everybody that I've been harvesting little by little. These guys are actually starting to come back. You can kind of see some of the flowers on it. Actually, no, you can't. Let me zoom in real quick. Boop. There you go. Now you can start seeing the flowers on there. Center of the screen. There's going to be a couple here. Sitting on this pot hurts my keister. There's another one back there. These guys are slowly starting to recover. As you can see, these ones here kind of got a little dry. I actually do have 5 bushes in here. There's 1 here, 1 there, 3, 4, and 5. And they are struggling. You can see all the little bits of green in here also, along with my fingernail. But this is the only way I can show you guys because I don't really have a pointer stick. Most of this stuff is gonna be carrots. I sprinkled a lot in here and then just kind of mixed them in. So I got carrots in here. I think I have some radishes, but I haven't seen them pop up yet. Usually they have a thick broadleaf. When they pop up, they're usually fairly easily identifiable. But so far it looks like nothing but carrots popping up in here. My cherry tree, let me zoom back out, folks. My cherry tree over here is doing pretty good. This was also this is the ultra dwarf or semi-dwarf Honeycrisp apple tree. I actually came back on Monday and there was a hummingbird sitting right here on this, which is kind of cool. And then down here I have some more peppers. These are struggling as well. I believe these ones are these are my serranos. So I have serranos here. I did have 4. 4th one died. Thought I could recover it, but it didn't work. Oh, I just noticed I have not been paying attention closely enough. I don't know, let me see if I'll zoom in for you guys again. Right there at the tip of my finger, there's a pepper, pretty much dead center of the screen. And then I just noticed, where'd he go? That guy right there, the other dead center of the screen. I just noticed him right now filming this. So it looks like my serranos are starting to take off, which is fantastic. I only have 2 so far, but once you get 1, that means the plant is usually about ready to start growing more because it's got the right conditions for it. And then there's my other coneflower plant, which I think I actually should switch out from there to there. I did have this tree over on that side, but it was getting fried by the reflection off the window and the heat off that wall, so I moved it, and it's slowly recovering over on this side. And I just got hay bales over here with little pot, trellises. There we go, little pot trellises. I just stuck them over here just to get them out of the way, but got to do something with plants back here. But yeah, there's the whole entire view of the backyard, folks, and my trash truck. And then we're going to go back to looking at some dirt here for just a brief moment. Yes, I know this is a long one, folks, but this is the full garden tour at the moment where we are standing, or where we stand at the moment. I don't know how you want to qualify it, but August garden tour full. with current updates. You'll notice nothing's in here except for that giant chunk of hay. I actually completely forgot what I was going to put in there. So right now it's just a pile of dirt with a block of hay on it. Over here we have the large garden bed. This is the 3x6. And this is my big one. I bermed off after I cut everything and cut and pulled everything out. This is the garden bed. I actually dug a hole dead center right here. Well, technically dead center would be right in between these screws and those ones over there. But I dug a hole about right there, all the way down to the bottom, about an 18-inch hole, and I just straight hit dirt. So I do not believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this was the first bed that I did the hugelkultur method in. That one was. I believe this one, the only thing I did was I think I put a 6-inch layer of leaves in there, or 8-inch layer of leaves, and then dumped everything on top of it. Leaves break down pretty quick, and unfortunately the organic mass on that one, I dug through that. Like I said, it felt like sand all the way to the bottom. So I don't know if I did that right, or if I just filled this with whatever soil I had from other containers just to fill it for the first season. I honestly cannot tell you 100%. So don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Let me zoom back in again. There is a ton of little bits of green in here. That one's actually growing pretty quick. That big green right in the center, that's actually a carrot, along with all of this in here. Apparently cleaning this thing out dropped, I don't know, probably about 1,000 carrot seeds in here. I got mosquitoes are trying to eat me right now because I'm going slow. And then I got this dingleberry over here. It'll be all loud, watch, even though I'm filming. Maybe not. Yeah, sort of. But anyways, what I have left over here is carrots growing everywhere. And the last 3 onions that I have over here, one of them's actually doing fairly well. Dang, mosquitoes are like trying to munch me to death over here. But yeah, cleaned out, finished. I've been maintaining the water on this one. Oh, let me zoom back out. Ignore this little corner right here for just a brief moment. This garden bed is pretty much ready. This will be for, I guess, Pest Hunter Outdoors, aka Jason. We'll be doing garlic in this one again, but I'm only going to go about halfway. So from about where this line is, straight across to those screws, and the front half of this will be onions. Backside, I think what I'm going to do is plant not berries. I might try to do the Three Sisters again on this because they seem to work pretty well the first time I did it. And, oh, snapola. I'm going to have to take a brief hiatus here, folks. Give me 1 moment. Take a quick pause here because I am flooding my tree. 1 moment. Yeah, just about back where we started off when I paused. So back to our regularly scheduled long video. So this is the 3x, this is like technically 2 3/4, like 2.5 feet by roughly 5 feet. This is the project that I have been working on the last few days. You can see I have my archway up here. Posts are in. Planter just for perspective. Essentially, this is what we have. You can see I have my second archway over there. This one's a little malformed because carrying it over here by myself, I carried it a weird way and I bent the squat out of it. So it is completely out of kilter. Looks incredibly funny. The other one's got a nice arch to it. This one's kind of broken. But yeah, here's what we got so far. Posts are in. Yes, they are not even. Please be advised, the planter box ones are not all the way in the ground. I did not need them all the way in the ground because my trellis is not all the way in the ground. The trellis actually sits on the edges of the planter for support, basically, so they don't slide down. Also keeps the posts from going any farther than they need to be. Although I'm probably going to take a hammer to whack these down just a smidge. Again, I'll be growing stuff out here. I'll be growing stuff out here. Pecan tree. I do not have my archway set on this one yet because of this plant. Once this plant is done for the season, I can get my archway in. I might be doing it in the wintertime. I have no idea. I actually might not be doing it at all this season because I do need to buy another cattle panel to cut to the appropriate length for this archway space. Aside from that, I do have one last cantaloupe in here off of this main plant, but I do have like 4 or 5 more about to take off over here. I have since moved my plant along the base of this. It was sticking out all the way over here. I got tired of stepping over it, so it's been moved here. I still have my tests, my garlic tests over here. They are doing pretty well. I have a feeling these are going to be fairly small ones. I do believe this one here died. At least the top half did. We'll see. I don't know. It's everything in my yard in this season has been struggling. I got a late start due to the 10 days I was gone from vacation. So I was not diligent enough for my garden. And I have things trying to land on me. Very large bugs. Filming in the evening. Bugs are out because it's cold or cooler. Well, this ought to be entertaining. Let's watch this moron going over the speed bump at like 0 miles an hour because he doesn't want to scrape. Oh, he's going to have a fun time when he gets down to the other one because that's a lot taller than the first one. But anyways, as I was saying, I've got a couple of new ones popping out over here. I actually forgot where they went. I know I've got, oops, see, look, there we go. There's another one there. And there's another one right there. So I got 2 more popping out so far. I'm probably got a third one somewhere. Just got those 2 so far. But this plant is still very much in production mode. Nope, that's just a leaf. It will produce more. I just got to give it more water and maybe a little bit of fertilizer. And then here is the final bed. I have added soil to this thing and added soil to this thing, and it just keeps dropping. It is ridiculous. I did full hugelkultur method on this one even after the rebuild. I filled the bottom half of this probably to there with sticks, probably up to here with mulch and other various organic materials that have been chopped into what other branches, sticks, leaves, and then probably from about, to be honest, from about there up was all soil. But getting that wet, I probably have, I don't know, at this point now I'm pretty sure my soil level goes from that knot all the way to the top. That stuff is breaking down very quickly. I have checked this periodically. I check and dig through there to see if I got worms, and I do still have worms in here, which is good. I like having worms in my bins. Worms mean healthy soil. The more worms you got, the healthier your soil. So in here at the moment, we have 3 more cantaloupe plants. I did plant these extremely late, folks. Not more than maybe 2 weeks ago. The first cantaloupe that I harvested, I pulled the seeds out, and I'd say about 40 seeds inside the cantaloupe were actually sprouting. So that meant that my cantaloupe was way past prime, or way past ripe, and was getting too much water because the seeds were trying to propagate inside the melon. So I planted them in here, and this is where we're at. I didn't want to put too many because I didn't want to have to yank out a whole bunch of dead plants that didn't do anything. And then over here on the last end of this, I have, it's going to get harder and harder to see because I'm running out of light. I got 1 sweet potato here. You can see the stalk there and here. That one's actually, that's actually a stick. The stalk is here. And then the other stalk is right there. I planted them basically lengthwise going this way. Not this way, this way. And you can see that other one over there. I did plant 3 of them. I know how sweet potatoes grow, despite the fact that I have not grown any of these personally. But I do know how they grow from watching other people grow them. And they are a vine plant. They will grow up this, which is the whole premise of why I have these in here in the first place. And then in between these, I did plant 2 beans. Whether or not they germinate in time is a whole nother story. We shall see. But you guys can see from here, I do have the spacing. It actually does go back about, you can kind of see there, it goes back about an inch, inch and a half. But I left this, I did this specifically this particular way. Let me show you. So I have a gap in between here. It's roughly about an inch and a half, inch and a quarter. And then you can see here, that is where that screw is the center board. But you go roughly about a half inch behind that and all the way across to about right in between here. And that's actually got recessed dirt. Now, I did it this way on purpose for the simple fact that any plant that I plant on the front side of this, the roots will spread out. If I planted them too far back, there wouldn't be enough root growth over here. They would dry out because this stuff does have gaps in it as the wood shrinks. So water will drain out and everything will get dry on that side. I have to be very diligent watering the outside because they do tend to dry out very quickly. But again, I have planter down there just for perspective. On the off chance I decide I want to grow something over there. If I grow beans on that side, perfect, because beans are a shallow root plant. I've never seen those things have root system more than about 6 inches deep, 6 to 8 inches. So having them here, I can grow them up this side. They can meet in the center and flap over. And the same with this, they can grow up and flap over. I can even, if I really wanted to, I could grow tomatoes up these plants, but I'm not going to. I have a different spot for those. But yep, a little bit of a gap in between there. You'll notice it also does not go down to the bottom. I find it absolutely pointless to do it that way because most of your plants are not going to start growing and grabbing until they're about up to the 4th or 5th rung of this. So they don't start sending out their growers or grabbers until the plant itself is usually about 8 or 10 inches tall. So hence the reason why I have a space under it and space behind it just for root expansion. I'm going to plant, I don't know, on this one I can do it with the beans. I can do a bean every square. I can plant 1 bean, which will give me 7 beans, 7 plants up one side. Can't do it on the other side because I will be growing those in planters, so it's going to be whatever the spacing of the planter is, which will be roughly 5 or 6, but I can weave all that stuff in there. Lighting is, trust me, my camera's making it actually look brighter than it is in some aspects. And then we have this over here, my funky test of bamboo and beans. Not so great, to be dead honest, folks. This has been a bit of a flop in my opinion. Yes, it can be done. I think the problem is I do not have enough nutrients in here to sustain both a grass and a bean at the same time. As you can see, this thing has actually gotten quite large. This one, and this one, all brand new. This one and that one back there, all brand new. Let me go around this side, let me show you. You can see. So my original 3 stalks are this one, the brown one in the center, and that one right there. Those are my 3 originals. When I started this at the beginning of the year, I showed you guys specifically, I counted each one of these and I had 14. They have since, 3 of them since died, and I now have 18 of these things in here. As you can see, they are going, so this is a brand new one. He's about 8 inches right now. This is so bad, it's actually splitting my pot and trying to grow out the side. That one's actually almost pushed out completely. But they are popping out. I'm gonna have to put these in a different container. This is what my contingency plan is next year if the bamboo and the silver container in the backyard does not function. This will be my backup. I will take this out and I will plant this dead center in the middle of it. But you can see here, I do have my beans are still growing up this. They are all over the place. Looks like I got a grasshopper up here eating my leaves. A couple of them down here. You can see them here. They're growing over here. All the way up this one. I don't know what happened to the one that I was trailing up this one. I have 3 plants in here and they have honestly done absolutely nothing. And I water this every day. I'll wake up in the morning, water it, I usually have a ring of water in here. By mid-afternoon or when I get home, that's gone. That's all dry. So, yeah, not doing so well on the watering aspect of this, folks. It is 100% honest. This has actually been a complete failure. It can be done under the right conditions. My conditions for it were not ideal or perfect for it. So it has been a bit of a flop. Also, the sunflower that I had in there straight up died. Like, it straight died. I had to yank it out because it was 100% dead. But yeah, other than that, got just a little bit more to go. And we'll end this video here shortly. Cleaned up all of this. I got all of this ready and set. This will be, to be dead honest, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to grow garlic over here. I think it might actually do real well over here. I might just do 2 or 3 rows of garlic in here. Yeah, I'll do about every other one. So I'll plant a row here, plant a row there, and then plant a row there. And I'll probably do it every other square. And then I'll leave the middle open, and then I'll probably maybe plant some more peppers on this side next year. We'll see. I haven't 100% decided. But compost bin is actually doing real well. At one point, I did have this thing filled all the way to the top. I have actually since been adding stuff. As you can see here, I have my mulched carrot seeds. I mean, I shredded everything. And I've been mixing it up little by little and just adding water and was watching it mold and do what it needs to do and compact and biodegrade away. And we have my jalapenos and my yellow ghost. I do actually have one yellow ghost on there. And I am starting to get a lot of jalapenos. I have one there. I have a couple of good ones there. A lot of flowers. These ones are just taking forever. Like, I got 2 more down there. So I got a total of 4 right there. 5 in that little one. I have 2 more there. Front one seems to be struggling. I don't know if it's just getting too dry. I'll have to keep watering that one a bit more often. But yeah, these ones are doing pretty good. I'm gonna start getting a ton of these sooner or later. And like I said, I do have one yellow ghost over here. So that plant has been struggling for 2 years. Yeah, that plant is 2 years old now. Acorn squash grew, died, grew, kind of dying. Still alive. I don't know what's going on. I had originally had beans down on the bottom that I had planned on trellising up this. They didn't do so well. They dried up and died. And then I have this monstrosity. This is the sunflower plant that I thought was going to be an absolute bruiser and massive plant with just one giant flower head on her. Flower head, flower head, flower head, flower head, flower head, and then just about every one of these branches is gonna start producing flower heads. I got 1 there, 1 here, 2 there, 1 there. Where's it at? 1 directly in front of me. I got this guy over here. Tons of them. Every one of these branches is basically gonna have 1 to 3 or 5 of these stupid heads on there. Potatoes. Cottonwood tree, onions. These ones are chives. As you can see, absolute beauties on the flowers. These are still my parsleys. These are the seed pods. I've been collecting those. I got a bunch of that stuff. Eggplant and onions. I believe I have 1 garlic in there as well. Absolutely nothing. Snapdragons. And my other 2... sorry, it's hard to see if there's 2 of them, but I actually have 2 more sunflower plants. This one is not as big as I would have hoped it was, but it does have a couple of heads on there, some decent ones. Oh, thought that was the moon for a second. I keep running into this one just because it's right in headspace. Like, I mean, this is about eye level, and I keep whacking it. See, look, that sucker is right there at me, and I keep running into it. Absolute failure on growing plants in here. Don't know what happened. We're back to the beginning. I have my Cosmos in there. Yeah, those are Cosmos. Carrots in here. And as you can see, my lights came on finally. I do have little garden lights here and there. And yeah, you guys can be able to see them. I've got the ones up front too by the tree. More of my garlic chives. Look at all of the flowers. I'm going to get so many seeds this year. And then my rosemary. That plant is actually doing fantastic. Bell peppers. Smallest bell peppers I've gotten on these, but this thing is, as you can see, it's pretty loaded for a little tiny plant. I got about 15, 20 bell peppers on there. Even though it doesn't look like it, they are all over the place. Then strawberries are struggling. It's just the heat. I've been trying to water these and keep them alive. Hopefully next year won't be as hot and they will survive a little better. But first, at the beginning of the season, I probably got about 2 or 3 pounds of strawberries off of just these plants alone. Probably about 15 plants in there now. And then the last little bit, I do have, it was a parsley plant, but is now onions. These are garlic. These are, sorry, not garlic. This is a bunching onion as well. I just trim them off and do whatever I want with them. And then the last little bits over here, my watering bins. Just purchased this one the other day, so now I have 55, 44, 44, and a 35. This is all going to be my watering that I'm going to try to utilize mainly just for this. So anytime it rains, I can just try to fill up all 3 of these, all 4 of them, and then that'll be my watering that I use along with this 100-gallon. So 155, 199, 243, and then 70, 270, 78, 278. So 278 gallons of water I can use for my garden back here. My basil plant. I literally almost called it parsley for some reason, but that is my basil plant. Let me get some light shedded over here. Let me get that on a lower setting. There we go. So I got my basil plant there, my columbines in the back corner, and then my cannas over here doing semi-fantastic. There's a lot of dry spots and brown spots. Yeah, it does well, but doesn't do well, and I do have it sitting in water right now just because it was dry. Same with that one, but that one actually can't get any of that water on the bottom because it does have a catch basin tray on the bottom. So it is what it is. But these guys, I'm surprised they're still out and about. They usually close up by now. They usually close around, when it starts getting dark, they actually start closing. But they're still open, which is kind of weird. These are considered flames. Don't know why, they're purple. So yeah, it is what it is, kind of weird. And then, like I said, my rosemary plant, this thing is getting huge. All right, folks, we are back to where we started. I would like to thank each and every one of you for sticking with me this long. I do apologize for this incredibly lengthy video, but I did need to do a full garden tour, as it has been about 3 weeks since I've filmed anything decent. Do me a favor on the way out, folks, if you can, just for me, hit that thumbs up. Share this out with any of your friends and family. If they have any concerns, questions, or comments about container gardening, please send them my way. I am still a beginner. I'm still learning myself, but I can always help others start off with their projects as well. On that note, we will see you all on Saturday at the same usual 7 p.m. Central Time on the good old Fox It Outdoors YouTube channel. Until then, folks, this is going to be Fox It Outdoors signing off. You folks have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.